Enjoy all 3 services from the cable.
The quality of their service is very excellent. The internet service is great.
And I talk all day on my Freedom Phone.
The cable's triple play.
We pride ourselves on delivering quality.
The best internet service.
We make it easy to stay in touch.
The cable's triple play. Take all 3 services from the cable and enjoy 10% off your cable bill. The cable.
Fellow citizens, residents all, good morning. Allow me first of all to say how truly humbled and grateful I am as a result of the tremendous outpouring of concern, love and encouragement worldwide directed toward me over the past few days. I wish also to apologize for being unable to speak to the nation via the medium of our national radio and television because of a decision taken by Minister Carty and the chairman of ZBC to deny me the privilege of broadcasting live. The Deputy Prime Minister's speech, I was told, would have to be pre-recorded and vetted prior to broadcast in this our democratic country. This I deem to be part of the unfolding of a sick, dark, and sinister plot of a depraved mind and constitute a most regrettable turn of events which must be closely monitored. I speak to you today mindful of my duties, obligation, and responsibilities as Deputy Prime Minister and as one of the 2 longest-serving members of Parliament in light of recent developments in relation to portfolio changes within the Ministry of National Security. I believe that it is most unfortunate that the thoughts and energy of nationals all across the globe, and indeed those of our residents, should be consumed in a debate of discord among the policymakers at such a critical time as this. In fact, this period seemed to be ushering in a new era of accord, of oneness, a coming together, as it were, in appreciation and acceptance of the role that we all must play if we are to rid our country of the humongous challenge of escalating crime and violence with which we have been battling for many years now. It is my view that the process of initiating and implementing an anti-crime strategic plan and the gang prohibition bill, which was debated in the National Assembly, augured well for high hope and expectations for effective redress that was almost palpable in the land. I therefore find it regrettable that we should be having this level of distraction that takes the focus off of the task at hand, that is, to come together to battle our biggest national scourge in recent times, that of crime and violence. And so, one questions the motive, indeed the need for this decision, and the specific changes outlined by the Honorable Prime Minister at this time. If I understand the broadcast correctly, he's saying essentially that there will no longer be a Ministry of National Security at a time when it is so very critical that we be seen as a united, combative force against the perpetrators of this evil war against our land. Not a confused, fragmented law enforcement agency, for it is exactly in this kind of perceived cloudy vision that evildoers gain strength and momentum. I am satisfied that substantial work has been undertaken with a view to transforming the ministry into a policy-focused organization. I have remained fully committed to employing measures so as to ensure that its administrative leadership is reordered in such a manner that would render improved communications and some semblance of good order and efficiency. I did conclude that it was practically impossible to achieve this objective with an accounting officer who, amongst other things, constantly made policy decisions without advising or consulting with me as minister. For these reasons, along with other public concerns, and after careful deliberation, I requested that I be given the opportunity to identify a new permanent secretary in an effort to take the ministry forward. With all of the circumstances surrounding this request, I have concluded that the minister, and God forbid, a golden opportunity for a national coalition on this issue, have been sacrificed. In spite of the delay in response to my request for a new permanent secretary, I continued my thrust to move the ministry's strategic plan forward. I engaged other government ministries and departments, the private sector, civil society, and other non-governmental organizations in discussions and dialogue in an effort to enunciate the steps needed to move our agenda forward. These included, among other things, enacting new legislation to address crime and violence with specific relation to gang activity, ensuring proper and more effective enforcement of existing legislation by providing the required equipment and other necessary tools to the police and defense force. Provisions of the necessary training for police officers in various disciplines, such as effective investigations, intelligence gathering techniques, and forensic science. Consultation and collaboration with allied countries to upgrade arrangements for surveillance of our seas and borders, and also the commissioning and upgrading of the closed circuit television or the CCTV system. In fact, as I speak, I was due to be in Israel at this time for the purpose of seeking assistance in that area. The use of island constables under the Island Constables Act number 31 of 2009, along with increased police presence in communities with significant criminal activities and the intensification of raids as a deterrent to the possession, use and or trafficking of illegal drugs and weapons. Modernization of the Ministry of National Security and the appointment of a high-powered cross-sectorial commission to advise on and monitor the implementation of the medium and long-term solutions that were recommended by the National Implementation Task Force on Crime or otherwise approved. Capacity building and strengthening of the office of Director of Public Prosecution and the establishment of a Parliamentary Select Committee on Crime and Violence. Hence, my approach in seeking to ensure that the relative few that comprise the criminal element would find absolutely no comfort as they are confronted by a country united in its resolve to stamp out this heinous crime and violence in our land. Fellow citizens, having accepted responsibility for this ministry, I have worked conscientiously and assiduously with passion, care, and persistence to combat crime and to unite the country in a rebuilding process. I am confident that the many initiatives which I had the distinct honor and privilege to introduce during my short sojourn as minister will yield positive results in the fullness of time. I am of the view that although I should not and would not divulge private or confidential information, I must, for the sake of the integrity of public records, inform you on the sequence of events. On Sunday the 28th August, On his return to the Federation, the Prime Minister informed me of his view that the country was calling on him to take the lead in national security. My response was that my interpretation was that the nation wanted him to demonstrate support in terms of speaking out and providing the resources required. This line of discussions continued into the following day, Monday the 29th, ending with the understanding that we should meet again and further discuss the level of the Prime Minister's involvement in the ministry. However, on Wednesday the 31st August, having completed the second reading in Parliament of the Anti-Gang Prohibition Bill, I was invited to the Speaker's office by the Prime Minister and there told of a decision to take unto himself the police, defense force, prisons and fire services in a configuration called Homeland Security, leaving the remainder of national security in a configuration called Border Security. My position remained the same, that there was absolutely no need for a split at this time. Having organized the passing of the baton ceremony for the incoming Commissioner of Police, slated for a couple of hours later, and being mindful that I was still the minister, and having the highest regard and respect for the officers of the St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, and indeed for the nation as a whole, I attended and concluded my duties in a professional manner. It was at the conclusion of the toasting ceremony at the police training complex that the Prime Minister informed me that he was scheduled to make a broadcast that night. I leave you to judge the level of respect, decorum, and propriety meted out. I have always been and will remain loyal and committed to the cause and service to God, our people, and country. As I speak, I am not privy to the official information